All right, everyone. I'm making this video because we all talk about it in the word, but what does it really mean? Make your calling and election sure. Bible says all are called, but few are chosen. Okay. And with what's going on right now in our economy, I believe that the strong should bear the infirmities of the weak. But how? We quote a lot of these scriptures, but we don't talk about how, right? And so I kind of built up Diamond VIP with the whole idea of here is a how, right? And as you can see it evolving and changing and growing and producing and all of these different things, you're getting to see multiple facets of how. But one thing that I never do is tell you exactly what I'm thinking in the very beginning. I'm just not that person. You'll never know exactly where my left hand is going versus where my right hand is going. And that's just something I learned, is that you always utilize wisdom, right? And the reason I do that is if you keep telling people what time it is or what's going on, then the chances are you're probably not going to get a whole lot done, because you're telegraphing your plays, or you're telegraphing your past, so to speak, if we were playing sports, right? A lot of times we'll telegraph and we'll do too much talking about what it is we're going to do, and then we leave ourselves no energy to go produce. And so I believe in that production. And so what I've been doing all these years, or the last 3 years, is giving you tools that you can use and do with whatever you so please. I've been putting you in rooms where, to be honest with you, to be frank, the typical person won't even get into some of these rooms. You just won't, right? And I know that Dr. Stan does exactly the same thing as what I do, which I appreciate his leadership. And if you've been missing those meetings, you're missing a whole lot, because it's the energy and the infusion that I get from those meetings, even the ones that I do. But Dr. Stan created the whole format that we're actually using, which I really do appreciate. But why do I do it? I do it not because I have to do it. I do it because I'm using every single one of these products, and I've used products of this nature before. I'm talking Live Good, and I've paid hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for them. And to be quite frank with you, if you're not taking advantage of using these products on the daily, just know that before Live Good showed up, you had to be wealthy in order to spend $300 to $400 per month to get a lot of these products, right? So I look at, what I've been doing with New Me, just for the last, I've consistently done it, guys, for the last, going on now 2 years. It's not there yet, but it will be the first of next year. And so for my body has been enjoying the results. And sometimes people will look at me and they'll be like, oh my God, you've lost so much weight. Well, it's also inflammation inside of the cells, right? So on a cellular level, Brian Lamont Roberts feels better than Brian Lamont Roberts has felt in years. Now, I was living in LA. I was getting plenty of vitamin D 8 years ago, and I was really enjoying myself, but I also was carrying more weight than I should have carried. And so a lot of times I'm hitting the treadmill and everything else. There's a reason I actually ruptured my Achilles, because I was working out very, very, very hard, and I got some great inroads. And this is where people get confused. It's bigger than the way you look. I'm talking about at, really 35 and above, to be quite frank with you. You need to start worrying about your heart. You need to start worrying about your blood. You need to start worrying about how much oxygen gets in. You really need to start feeding yourself vitamins, right? And it shows up in your immunities, or your lack thereof, right? I've been blessed to not have, knock on wood, Jesus would, no COVID, zero. In the last 3.5 years, zero. Now, we think we may have had a bout with it in 2019 toward the end, when we left New York City. But I keep my immunity levels high. I really do. And we've been blessed not to have it. But not only have we been blessed not to have it, neither did my in-laws, neither did my children, no one. And so I'm looking at it from an elite status, right? I'm saying to myself, Yes, Brian Lamont Roberts can afford to, and I'm not stubborn. So I put good things in my body, right? And a lot of times it's just stubbornness, right? Somebody can give you can lead them to the well, but you can't force them to drink. And so that's why I drove home today that, we can tell you about the greatest products in the world, but if you don't use them on the daily, then you're missing the whole point. The whole entire point. I can give you bottles and bottles of New Me and you don't try them, and baby, it ain't gonna help your body at all. You need to do them every single day, consistently. Because that's how you see what the benefit really is. To be able to have clear focus and drive and your mind be right. Don't even ask me a question anymore if you're not taking the products. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Because you're not getting it. You're just not understanding, right? And so for those that have taken it, I'm proud to say that for a change, you don't have to be elite. And you can see my background. You can see the nice homes that are behind me. This is my neighborhood. You don't have to be elite. You don't have to drive a Porsche. You don't have to drive a Lamborghini. You don't have to drive a Mercedes Benz. We went out and discovered and found for you the type of health products that will put you on par with the wealthiest of people. Now, let's talk about the great discovery real quick. We did the same thing for your children's education, because now they can get a Six Sigma education. Now, if you don't appreciate the work that we do, we get it, no problem. You don't have to appreciate it. You don't have to use it. You don't have to do it, right? But it's the very fact that someone would take up their time to show you something that you did not know, you did not discover. And so for everyone who's in Diamond VIP, I want you to start asking yourself, what have I personally brought to Diamond VIP other than just enjoying what someone else's labor has been? And I guess I'm asking that of you because now there's people that are coming in on the top level so that you understand, who already get it. They get 100% what Diamond VIP is. I was talking to an actor who was on Silicon Valley, and he's done a few other things, Jonathan has, and he was so intrigued by the fact that I literally went through the trouble of building something so powerful, because now, even as an actor, he has a hub of other actors, other comedians, other writers, and people just right here in this group. You haven't been paying attention. This right here. Comedians, you name it, motivational speakers. And it's a real true hub of people and collaborators that he could really, really work with and grow with. And so when I talked to Kevin in about 20 minutes with New Hollywood, we're now entering into a Nations United Hollywood. You have to be a genius or a rocket scientist to see that Hollywood's struggling. And you may not have paid any attention, but for the last almost 4 years, there haven't been any real new movies of any worth. And one of the reasons is they've either been on strike or been through COVID or whatever else is going on. Now, that has affected people's lives. And that's why some have committed suicide and have done all kinds of unseemly things, because that's what people do when their life is revolving around their income. Their status is revolving around their job. I could see, I'm going to say this one more time, that something was coming like the Passover. And we know that to be COVID now. And that was toward the end of 2019. Just like every year, I ask God, what is the new year going to bring? But what the Lord showed me 4 years ago was a warning that there was going to be something like the Passover. And when he shared with me on April 5th of 2020 to stop attending to Pharaoh's business, get up and build for your people, in my mind, I said, wait a minute, the Passover and Pharaoh. So what does this mean? This means that we're entering into a place that we've never been before. And the same thing that happened with Pharaoh back then, because Pharaoh was stubborn. And I hope you're not stubborn, but Pharaoh was very stubborn and he didn't get it. That although he was a God, small g, to himself, in the eyes of the Almighty God, he was going to have to listen. And he didn't like it because the children of Israel, in his mind, were his, right? And we kind of have entered into that place now. Some of you may not get it, but corporations believe that you're theirs. And so when I built what I built for you, it's because no one's going to warn you that they're going to give you a severance letter or, that your job has been surplus. No one's going to say that. They're just going to wait for you to figure it out on your own. And so you have to develop skills, because those skills are going to carry you into the next dimension, into the next phase of life. Some of you don't realize e-economy might save you in your personal economy. But because you wouldn't put the time in, unfortunately, your skills haven't caught up to the moment. And so the moment that we're currently in is a very distracting moment. But I have some resources available to you. And I have another resource that I'm bringing out. I was on a meeting call yesterday that can save your behind in the next 2 months. But it won't save you if you don't try. Just like you won't learn how to trade with the economy if you don't get in the mix and start learning it, right? Even though it's got a AI attached to it, you have to do some work. Like you have to basically listen up, right? Go to the trainings yourself and make sure that you understand how to transfer money and do all the things that you're going to have to do, right? You're going to take the test and all that stuff. You're going to have to apply yourself. These are all things that you're going to have to do. No one's going to tell you how to do it. I mean, they do show you how to do it, but as far as like the get up and go to get it done, that's going to have to be on you. But the Bible says the strong shall bear the infirmities of the weak. To me, that's what this means. Building this out like it is bearing the infirmities of the weak. But doing it for you is not bearing the infirmities of the weak. That's weakening you. That's creating a situation where you couldn't do it on your own. And I want to give you some tools that your children's children can eat from. Now, if you're interested in the great discovery and you're interested in your children knowing more and you being able to utilize more. And by the way, the great discovery has $100 an hour. If you take your time to go through the training and get certified, you can be paid to actually be one of the instructors for the great discovery. And this is the same thing that can interpret in different languages. It can actually have you speaking in multiple different languages. I think it's 12 right now. And before the launch, which is, I believe, in March, you're going to have probably about 70 of them, 72. And so it's time to engage properly. It's not time to go and skate and, you can buy your Christmas gifts, but I promise you're going to be lost come January, because I'm looking at a lot of jobs that are going away as of January 31st, December 31st, which I think is just incredibly evil. But it is what it is, right? So get in, buckle up, and get ready to go, and let's make some things happen.